Hi guys, welcome back to B Speed Shop. So in today's video I'm going to be removing the front subframe with the engine and gearbox. I'm going to be removing the rear subframe as well, so I can get everything ready to put the Mini in the rotisserie and start working on the new floor panels. So I have done a little bit of work off camera just to get things ready yesterday. So I managed to get the steering column out, and I also got the pedal box out as well with the brake and clutch system. So you see they were sat on a plate just here, but I've got them removed now. I've also got this engine brace undone as well, because that mounts there, and then the plate from here goes over the top of it, so it's sandwiched in. Brake cylinder I've got disconnected from the firewall. Everything else, so there's nothing else attached to the car. Everything else that's in here is attached to the front subframe. So to remove the front subframe, there's these two large bolts either side. They hold in the rubber cone. So they are 1 3/8. And then, I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but just down here, so there's one bolt there holding the front of the subframe in. I also need to undo the, I don't know if you'll be able to see, so the top of the shock, there's a bolt through there that I need to undo as well. And then sort of just down in there, there's two more bolts which mount the subframe to the firewall. So obviously once I get all of them undone, it should be loose, and then my plan is to lift the car body over the engine and then roll the front subframe out, and then holding in the gear shifter is just these two nuts here. So I just need to undo them first, and then I can move around to the front and start undoing all the mounts for the subframe, and then I should be able to drop it out. So as far as I can see, everything for the front subframe has been disconnected, and I've undone all the bolts and all the mounts. So I'm going to try lowering it down and see if the actual subframe will lower down. So I've got the front subframe out now with the engine and gearbox still in it. So that wasn't too bad. What we had to do is use some we had to use some of these wooden blocks just to make up a bit of room on these axle stands. But I mean, now that the engine's out, it's pretty light to pick up. So I was able just to hold on to the front and lift it up while my granddad slid some blocks in. So next job, rear subframe. This one should be easier because there's only those two bolts there, and then I think there's either one or two sort of just here somewhere. But because I've done a bit of work on this car before, obviously all the brakes and everything have been stripped out already, so that would just be a case of jacking it up, unbolting it, and then dropping out the subframe. So that's my next job, which I'll get on with now. I've got the rear subframe out now, so what I had to do for that was take the rear wheels off just so I could lower the subframe enough to pull it out. So I've got it just over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to replace the actual subframe itself, because there's a split along there, and then there's quite a bad split just here, like it's actually split all the way from this edge all the way up here. Obviously this part's rotted out, but then it's split all the way up here as well. So rather than trying to fix this, I'm just going to get a new one, and I'm going to get new rubbers as well, but all like the metal parts I'll transfer over, I'll clean them up, repaint them, and just transfer them over when I get a new subframe. So before I can get my rotisserie all set up, I just got to remove these bolts and this plate here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in with a wire brush and clean up all along this area. This side in particular is more rusty, because that's obviously where the brake and the clutch system were, so obviously a little bit of oil's got out at some point and just gone through the paint, so it's gone rusty. But I'll clean it up. It's all solid, like there's no any holes or anything, there's no thin metal, it's still pretty thick just there, so I'll clean it up with the wire brush. All the other mounting points seem alright, so I shouldn't need to do anything. Obviously it mounts there, and then the piece that goes in the boot, it bolts in where the shocks would go, so there'd be a bolt in there, and then there's another piece which bolts up, I think it's through these holes here possibly. If not, I might have to drill some holes to make it fit, but I mean they're not massive holes, so I can just cut out a small blank of metal and weld it in if I need to. If I have to drill, then I can just weld in a piece of metal to plug the hole, so that's no bother. So I'm going to be leaving this video here for today. So my plan for next weekend is just to do a whole video on setting up the rollover jig and just sort of demonstrate how it works. So I'm pretty happy with the progress I'm making so far. Obviously both subframes are out now, so I can really start working on the Mini, get all the welding done, and then from there we can do engine rebuild if it needs rebuilding, or just do the head. So thanks for watching this video.